Artificial intelligence today is not a promise. It's a quiet presence that has already slipped into the daily lives of people who work, study, create, organize, decide. There's no need to imagine it as something futuristic or distant because it's already here, making processes faster, choices lighter, and time a little more flexible. The point isn't how powerful it is, but how it's used. When AI enters everyday life in the right way, it doesn't take space away from human thinking, it frees it. It removes friction from repetitive tasks, anticipates needs, suggests shorter paths. Productivity doesn't turn into a race, but into a feeling of control. In practice, AI works best when it stops being a magical tool and becomes an invisible assistant working in the background. A simple example is time management. Planning a day no longer means blocking hours on a calendar, but asking an intelligent system to suggest priorities based on real deadlines, available energy, and the type of activities. This changes the way people work because it shifts the focus from doing everything to doing what actually matters. Another key point is writing. Emails, reports, presentations, creative texts. AI speeds up the first draft, removes the initial block, and lets you start from something instead of nothing. It doesn't replace a personal voice, it amplifies it because it leaves the most interesting part to humans, refining, choosing, deciding the tone. Even in everyday problem solving, AI makes everything smoother. Faced with a technical doubt, a strategic decision, or a messy idea, having an artificial mind that quickly analyzes scenarios, alternatives, and consequences reduces the time spent in uncertainty. It's not delegation, it's collaboration. It's like always having someone to brainstorm with without waiting for a call or a meeting. The real acceleration happens when AI is integrated into workflows. Intelligent automations that reply to common messages, systems that summarize meetings in seconds, tools that turn complex data into readable insights. Every small time saving adds up, and by the end of the day, it makes a real difference. But using AI productively also means knowing how to talk to it, asking clear questions, giving context, explaining goals. The more precise the input, the more useful the output. This is a new skill, but a crucial one. You don't need to be technical, you need to be intentional. A practical tip is to start with just one area of your life. Not everything at once. Maybe creative work, or personal organization, or learning. Use AI every day for that specific function until it becomes natural. The impact grows with consistency, not with initial excitement. Learning faster has also become more accessible. AI personalizes study, explains complex concepts in simple ways, adapts examples to the listener's level. It doesn't impose a pace, it follows one. This changes the relationship with knowledge, making it less heavy and more immediate. Then there's decision-making speed. Analyzing information, comparing options, evaluating risks takes time and mental energy. AI reduces the cognitive load, leaving room for intuition and vision. It doesn't decide for you, but it puts you in a better position to decide. Even in everyday creativity, from project ideas to brand content, AI doesn't create instead of humans, it multiplies possibilities. It suggests angles, connections, variations that would otherwise take hours. The key is not stopping at the first answer, but using it as a springboard. Productivity isn't doing more, it's doing what used to cost too much effort with less effort. And when AI is used with this mindset, life becomes faster without becoming more chaotic, more fluid, more intentional. Not because everything is automated, but because energy is spent where it truly matters. This operational lightness also changes the relationship with stress because much pressure comes from the feeling of having to remember everything, manage everything, anticipate everything. AI absorbs part of this weight, not by eliminating it, but by making it manageable. Intelligent reminders, automatic summaries, contextual suggestions mean the mind doesn't have to stay constantly on alert. This frees up attention, which is the real scarce resource. When attention is protected, productivity almost grows on its own. Another practical aspect is information organization. Scattered notes, forgotten documents, lost links. AI helps catalog, search, and connect content naturally. You don't need to remember where something is, just what you're looking for. This radically changes workflow because it reduces unnecessary interruptions. Communication also becomes more efficient. Clearer messages, faster replies, shorter meetings because they're already summarized. AI suggests how to say things better, not in an artificial way, but in a functional one. The result is less friction between people and more time to actually work. In the professional world, this means competitive advantage, but also well-being. Working better doesn't mean working more. It means working with more precision. A concrete tip is to use AI as a filter before action. Before starting a task, ask for a structure, a checklist, an optimized sequence. Not to follow it blindly, but to avoid useless steps. This approach reduces chaotic improvisation and increases the quality of the final result. AI is also powerful in idea management. Ideas often arrive messy. AI helps organize them, understand which deserve immediate attention and which can wait. This prevents creative energy from being scattered. Speed isn't just execution, it's clarity. When you know what to do, you do it faster. Another area where AI speeds up life is research. Finding relevant information used to take time, now it takes good questions. AI summarizes, compares, highlights key points. It doesn't replace critical thinking, it makes it possible even when time is limited. This is essential in a world that produces more information than anyone can consume. Modern productivity is knowing what to ignore. AI helps with that. Adaptability improves too. Tools, markets, required skills change. AI supports continuous updating, suggesting what to learn, how to do it, and in what order. It doesn't impose a path, it builds one tailored to you. This makes change less tiring and more natural. A often overlooked aspect is consistency. Doing a bit every day, without spikes and crashes. AI helps maintain rhythm by reminding goals, tracking progress, adjusting expectations. It doesn't judge or pressure, it accompanies. This has a direct impact on long-term sustainable productivity. Even in personal life, from trip planning to financial management, AI reduces complexity. Fewer trivial decisions, less time wasted on endless comparisons. Choices become faster because they're supported by data and simulations. The feeling is having a clear picture at all times, even when things move quickly. Using AI effectively also means knowing when not to use it. Not everything needs optimization. Some things should remain slow, human, imperfect. AI works best when it protects these spaces by handling the rest. Real productivity isn't filling every minute, it's creating mental space. And this may be its most important contribution, making life faster without making it louder, more efficient without losing depth. When AI is used this way, it becomes part of the natural rhythm of daily life. You don't notice it, but you feel it. And at that point, working, creating, deciding simply becomes easier. This ease also reshapes how goals are set and pursued. Instead of rigid plans that quickly become obsolete, AI encourages flexible systems that adjust in real time. Goals stop being distant targets and become living references that evolve as conditions change. This makes progress feel more natural and less forced. Feedback loops become faster because results are analyzed immediately and small corrections happen before mistakes grow. This saves time, but more importantly, it saves motivation. When improvement is visible and measurable, staying consistent becomes easier. AI also changes how energy is allocated throughout the day. By observing patterns, it can suggest when to focus, when to pause, and when to switch tasks. This isn't about control, but about alignment. Working with personal rhythms instead of against them increases output without increasing effort. Even rest becomes more effective because it's intentional rather than accidental. Another practical impact is confidence. Having access to instant clarification, validation, and alternative perspectives reduces hesitation. Decisions don't feel heavier than they need to be. This doesn't remove responsibility, it removes unnecessary doubt. Over time, this builds a smoother relationship with action. People move faster not because they rush, but because they trust the process. AI also acts as a translator between complexity and simplicity. It takes abstract systems and turns them into something actionable. This applies to data, but also to habits, strategies, and long-term plans. Complexity doesn't disappear, it becomes usable. And when complexity is usable, it stops being intimidating. The final shift is subtle but powerful. Productivity stops being about output and starts being about flow. Tasks connect better, transitions feel lighter, and the day feels less fragmented. AI doesn't create this flow on its own, but it supports it by removing friction at the right moments. When that happens, progress feels continuous instead of exhausting, and that's when speed and quality finally move in the same direction.